Every country in the world has something unique to offer. From breathtaking scenic views to unimaginable infrastructural wonders, there's quite a lot of astonishing things out there to explore. Canada is one such country that's home to some of the most incredible and shocking things, places and life forms in the world. These may include a cryptic gravestone installed about 100 years ago, or McDonald's floating restaurant. In today's video, we'll be telling you about the 15 most shocking discoveries from Canada. So hold tight as we take you on this ride across the landscapes and cultural quirks of this vast scenic country. Before we begin, do take a moment to subscribe to our channel and give this video a thumbs up for good luck. Bean Puzzle Tombstone. In rural Russian cemetery, one can see thousands of similar tombstones erected on the graves. However, one tombstone stands out distinctly and is known as Bean Grave Marker. Instead of the typical RIP, it was engraved with a crossword code. Its decoding took about 100 years. The names of two wives of Dr. Samuel Bean are inscribed on the stone. His first wife, Henrietta, died just after 7 months of their marriage, and Suzanne, his second wife, also died only after a few months of married life. He buried both the ladies in the same grave and constructed this mythical tombstone, but he did not share the meaning of the code with anyone. Later, he died while traveling on a ship destined for Cuba. Numerous people tried to solve the riddle but failed. By the 1980s, the tombstone inscription had become illegible and was replaced with its replica. The groundskeepers conveyed that the code had been decrypted in the 1940s but refused to share it. Ultimately, in the 1970s, a 94-year-old woman decoded it. She informed the public that it read, "In the memorial of Henrietta, first wife of S. Beans M.D., who died on 27 September 1865, aged 23 years, 2 months and 17 days, and Suzanne, his second wife, who died on 27th of April 1867, aged 26 years, 10 months and 15 days. Two better wives one man never had. They were gifts from God and are now in heaven. May God help me, S.B., to meet them there." Smoking Hills. These smoke-emitting hills are located in the Arctic Ocean near Canada's Northwest Territories and have been burning for hundreds of years. These barren red-striped rocks are extremely hot. The smouldering landscape was named Smoking Hills. We sure would like to know what the first European explorers to this area thought about this phenomenon. In the past, several sailors referred to this landscape as Land of Hell. The first explorer, Captain Robert McClure, an Irishman, reached the region by the early 1800s. As per the story, captain and crew had set for the Canadian Arctic while searching for long-lost explorer Sir John Franklin, who had disappeared about 5 years before that, while on an expedition for mapping the Northwest Passage. McClure went to the shore and brought with him a piece of the smoking rock, which burnt a hole through the wooden deck. McBarge. McDonald's outlets are spread all over the world, but Canada has the most interesting one floating in one of its water bodies. This McDonald's restaurant was established on a barge locally named McBarge. Boat crews in the area would collect their meals from it. McBarge was constructed in 1986 for the World Exposition on Transportation and Communication, but subsequently it remained disused. The barge remained anchored for 30 years in the Burland Inlet. Howard Meeking purchased it in 2015 and moved for refurbishment. Fairy Forest. Redwood Park in Surrey is a beautiful sight. Hundreds of attractively coloured fairy homes are scattered throughout the forest, which present a scene of a fairyland. Houses vary in size and layout. Interestingly, these houses have been made by the children for their enjoyment. The park is a consequence of a birthday gift. In 1881, twin deaf brothers Peter and David Brown, on their 21st birthday, were gifted 40 acres of land which was logged and prepared for farming. They decided to turn the land into an impressive forest where adults as well as children could enjoy life like heard in fairy tales. This park contains the largest stand of redwood trees north of 49th parallel. Before making it a public place, Peter and David constructed a 2-story treehouse. They lived there till their death in 1949. Ice Hotel. Let's take you to a wonderland in Quebec, where a hotel is built from ice and snow only. Tourists from around the world visit this one-of-a-kind hotel with the experience of a lifetime. It's a temporary hotel called De Glace, which has been built entirely out of snow and ice. Quite against the expectations, it's not that cold. It functions on the lines of an igloo at a much larger scale. Surprisingly, it's very warm. Its structure was fashioned from 40,000 tons of snow. Well, if you can't visit it physically, you can enjoy its digital tour. It's like an ice palace from Disney's animated film Frozen. It contains elaborate ice carvings and sculptures. The idea for the ice hotel was originally conceived in 1996 when an entrepreneur witnessed Sweden's ice hotel and planned to make one in Quebec. A team consisting of 30 workers and 15 sculptors works for 6 weeks a year, crafting and erecting the hotel in time for its opening in January. It was first opened in 2001. Giant nuclear shelter. People propagating doomsday scenarios for different reasons have made underground shelters stuffed with requisite supplies in different parts of the world. Bruce Breach has constructed an enormous subterranean shelter by recycling 42 school buses in Horning Mills, Canada. He's covered their top with layers of concrete, soil and steel. Bruce thinks he's attempting to safeguard humanity in case of the inevitable nuclear war. The shelter is spread over about 10,000 square feet and can house approximately 500 people, equal to a small village. He started constructing the shelter in the early 1980s, and up till now he has expended hundreds of thousands of dollars on this project as he aims at protecting the human race from extinction at any cost. Big Lonely Doug. On western coast of Vancouver Island, a tall lonely tree can be seen which seems to be out of place as its surrounding is completely cleared due to logging activities. It's a huge ancient tree and has gained iconic value for the country. Known as Big Lonely Doug with a height of 230 feet and a trunk as wide as some apartments, it was named after its species, the Douglas fir, and stands distinguished among the stumps and remnants of an unchecked logging operation. Local conservationists have estimated that its age varies from 750 to 1,200 years. It's astonishing to find this rare tree standing tall and spared by the loggers in 2012, while flourishing logging activity in the British Columbia has resulted in cutting down of almost 99% of Douglas fir trees. No one knows the exact reason for leaving this mammoth tree intact. Maybe it's a reminder of the flourishing forest that once existed here. Signpost forest. It would be surprising to see a forest covered with signposts, but one such forest does exist in Canada, and it's called the Signpost Forest. It is actually a pathway displaying thousands of different signposts like warning signs, street signs, religious signs, etc. for several years. It's located deep inside the wooded areas in Yukon. Here you're welcomed by the hazard signposts hung with the trees. These indicate a long history of signposting in Canada. As per stories told to tourists at Visitor Center, US soldier Carl K. Lindley hung the first sign in the forest in 1942 while helping construction of Alaska Highway, a strategic road project undertaken by the USA for increasing supplies transportation and facilitating movement of troops during World War II. The first sign displayed Danville, Illinois, 2385 miles, although the original sign has been lost but replaced with a replica. A large number of people visit the area annually for exploring this tourist trail. SOCKEYE Salmon Run. In Kamloops, British Columbia, a special phenomenon occurs every 4 years. Like clockwork, SOCKEYE salmon return to their spawning fields during the initial 3 weeks of October. As per researchers, every 4th year turned as a dominant run. The number of salmon is so immense that water turns crimson. Population explosion due to reasons so far not determined results in return of millions of fish with such a force that an undulating crimson ribbon is formed as they swim upstream. It's inexplicable, except something related to the strange behavior that about 34 million salmon pop up in a specific area. Researchers are still unable to ascertain how the salmon navigate their way back home after having traversed immense distances. It's quite a unique scene to observe. Town called asbestos. Asbestos is a material injurious to human health as it may cause cancer. In the past it was also known as miracle material, but now it's considered the bane of humanity's existence. The area around Asbestos Town in Quebec, Canada is known to have the largest asbestos mine in the world. Revelations regarding health hazards associated with this material really did not go well with the residents of the area. Mining of asbestos from this area stopped just a decade ago. In Russia, still, there are significant asbestos mines in the town of Asbest. Surprisingly, US EPA is in the process of approving some new uses of asbestos in consumer products. In this backdrop, there would be very few mines from where this material could be obtained. These closed mines of Quebec may again become operational if money-making opportunities are revived, as still plenty of material is buried there. Nature's Time Post. Canada possesses one of the most impressive balancing rocks in the world. It is a force of nature that makes the rock stand tall along the cliffs overlooking St. Mary's Bay. It's distinguished from other rocks in its surroundings. The column of rock is situated at exactly the edge of the cliff that can fall at any moment, yet has remained stable for hundreds of years. It can clearly be seen that the erosion by the bay water has caused several other similar columns to have crumbled. Some fishermen tried to tie ropes and apply force to pull the rock down, but to no avail. Frozen bubbles. Scientists get an opportunity to see incredible prehistoric frozen atmosphere and lake bubbles trapped for apparently millions of years at Abraham Lake. They can sample the air trapped within the bubbles if they dig massive columns and collect them still frozen. Perhaps it's the air that dinosaurs breathed. Despite the fact that they have been produced by nature, the bubbles hold unknown hazardous gases which can be fatal for humans. Scientists are resorting to extreme measures, even not to breathe in any air, as the catastrophic atmosphere can release carbon-emitting bubbles and discharge toxins into the air. Conservationists have genuine concerns about temperature change, as lakes like this one will thaw and can release that dangerous air. It is stunning to see toxic methane gas while it is frozen. One can safely walk over and witness the amazing colors produced in the lake due to the light bouncing back from the trapped molecules in the water and bubbles. Polar bear prison. Polar bears seen in this video are in a special prison. Guards keep roaming for offering water through tiny windows to the imprisoned aggressive polar bears. They're being tamed, and when calmed, they'll be freed just after a few weeks. However, stubborn bears take considerable time to gain freedom. Disused aircraft hangars located near the town of Churchill, Manitoba in northern Canada form the only unique prison for polar bears. Polar bears being one of nature's fiercest land predators that attack the town located in the middle of their migration route up to Hudson Bay. When they find sizable quantities of food in the town, they stop migration. Actually, residents of the town don't want this to happen and have built a prison to deter the predators. This prison is in fact acting as a rehabilitation facility and gets them back to the natural course of migration. Perfectly preserved dinosaur. For quite a while, archaeologists have been keenly studying dinosaur fossils, but this extremely well-preserved dinosaur fossil has proven to be a game-changer for the experts. The expectation that there might be some very well-preserved dinosaur fossils has given scientists a hope for future research, and they're optimistic about acquiring more information about their bodies, including their colors and physiological characteristics, in about a decade. Researchers claim to have found more than dinosaur skeletons. These are closer to carcasses in a manner. It includes the contents of the dinosaur's stomach, and it would reveal what they ate when scientists believe they lived over 100 million years ago, just before the arrival of the catastrophe that may have led to the extinction of these massive creatures. This miraculous discovery has reinvigorated archaeologists. They found the creature's skin, armor, and some of its guts intact. They're astonished by this unprecedented level of preservation by nature, and so are we. NARCISSE snake dens. This horrifying den of snakes found in Canada has been given many different names like Wildlife Preserve, Cesspit of Horror, Pit of Snakes, and the Den of the Devil. It is the place where red-sided garter snakes assemble for hibernating and subsequently mate in huge balls of serpentine love. Most of the snakes here don't pay any heed to the humans passing through the area, as they are committed in their natural duty. Seeing thousands of snakes slithering may evoke fear in onlookers. Some experts monitoring this specific area estimated that at one time the population of snakes in Narcisse approached over 70,000. However, changes in weather and the killing of snakes while crossing the road for migrating to natural cracks and burrows for hibernation and mating during the winter months have substantially lowered their population. What do you think of these recently made discoveries? Do share your opinions with us in the comment section below. We'll be back soon with a new and super informative video for you guys. Until then, have a great time. Goodbye.